So a little more about my injury. I do dread talking about it because I've talked about it so many times to different surgeons and doctors, and it feels very much like everything hinges on how you word it, how they're listening to you, how they process what you're saying, if they've eaten that day. There's just so many variables, and I know a lot of things are out of your control, cause and effect. You could spend eons figuring out trying to figure out how something led to something else. So anyway, all of this is a muddled way of saying there's a lot of stress of kind of telling your history, and throughout the entire doctor's appointment, because you're hoping against hope that something will be different and that they are really listening to you and trying to understand. If anyone has had chronic illness or injury, I feel like medical trauma is inevitable, and the physical therapy doctor or orthopedic surgeon, podiatrist realm, maybe in all realms, it does seem male dominated, and it does feel like I am at the mercy of their egos sometimes, or at the mercy of random men, and oftentimes it's like you can visibly see their egos getting in the way of listening to you, hearing you. So anyway, with my injury, it happened April 4th, 2021. I had turned 28 the year before, went to a skate park. I first went to a skate park for the first time the day before, absolutely loved it, so I went back. Just trying different things. I was surprised at how well I took to it, and then I guess I'd been there maybe about an hour, and this girl came up to me and she was like, I've been watching you practice, and I feel like you could go off of this ramp. And it was this really tall aluminum ramp, way outside of my skill level, but I guess I was flattered and am always trying to soak up validation and wanting to be seen. So I guess a lot of insecurities and a loneliness inside of me that just latched onto that and wanted to drink from that. So I did go down the ramp. The first time I did it, not great. And then for some reason I did it again. If I had just stopped and did it once and said, wow, that is just not for me right now, I wouldn't be here. But I went up a second time and I went down the ramp, lost my balance at the bottom, stepped with my left foot, and it felt like tectonic plates in the earth. Like my midfoot was like a shift. Felt really nauseated. I think you're supposed to say nauseated, not you feel nauseous. But I didn't go to urgent care. I didn't go till a week later. They said, oh, you have broken your second metatarsal. You should go see a podiatrist. Found a podiatrist. His x-ray machine wasn't working. Should have been a red flag. I should have been like, okay, I gotta go. But I went ahead with his prognosis. He looked at the x-ray from the urgent care since his wasn't working and was like, actually it's second, third, and fourth, but don't worry, Mother Nature, literally Mother Nature, is going to heal it. So he put me in a walking boot. That same day I had a horrible bulge in my inner arch around like where the first met meets the cuneiform. I was very alarmed, but I kept walking the boot. My foot felt worse and worse. I tried calling him. I don't remember what happened, but I was like, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So I went to see, I think he was an orthopedic surgeon. And he was like, oh my God, you should have never bared weight. You should have never put weight on your foot. So he put me in a cast for several weeks, and the bulge did not go down. And he was like, you know what? I think this is a lisfranc injury, which is rare, and a lot of athletes get it. Essentially, the lisfranc ligament. It's named after because the guy would always amputate people with lisfranc injuries. But it's essentially in the midfoot. You can also get a lisfranc amputation where you get it at that joint level. I guess it's lisfranc is the whole joint in the midfoot. So something was misaligned there, and then I had fractured the second through fourth. He didn't know what to do, so he said, you need essentially to go look elsewhere. Long story short, I went to a podiatrist, probably should have gone to an orthopedic surgeon. He fused the first met and second met in with my cuneiform. I honestly don't even know, and maybe that seems shocking, but I've tried to blur it all out and not really think about it. But I think what I just want to say is that beware of fusions. Just do your research. I was in so much pain and so confused, and I really thought if a doctor is a doctor, then they know best. I did not realize that not all I should have known this, but I did not. I had not internalized that all doctors are not created equal. And even if you're in pain and scared, you need to do more research. You need to find second, third opinions, which seems like common sense, but at the time, I don't know, I was just really trusting, and I just really needed to hear someone who seemed to know what had happened to my foot and how to fix it. Eventually, I had the surgery, I had the fusion, never got better after physical therapy, so I did get a reversion surgery with an orthopedic surgeon in another state. He also shaved down one of my sesamoids, which is, there's two little bones in the big toe joint. They're the only bones, I think, other than the kneecap, which just float in tendons but aren't attached to any other bone. And because I had such little dorsiflexion, he did a gastroc recession. And I'm still not better. And anytime I tell a physical therapist about the gastroc recession and the sesamoidectomy or partial, they're always very shocked, which does not do wonders for my nervous system, which is completely a dark morass and very just high, like I'm watching a scary movie all the time. So yeah, that's kind of, I've left stuff out because I like to just bulldoze my way through that story. I don't like to linger. Yeah, and the medical trauma is one of the worst pieces of it all.